Welcome back. I'm Teresa Harding, and I'm excited about our topic today because exercise is something that can be so fun. For some people, it's just fun. For some people, it's a dread. For some people, it's just about kills them. But how can it be something that can be wonderful for you? We're going to get to that at the end because what I want to do first is I want to talk about the 10 things that are stopping you from exercising. And for all of us, at least one of these things is going to be something that's been on our list. Because we all know for for decades, we have known the benefits of exercise. There are so many studies out there that have shown that regular physical activity can improve our overall health, it improves our well-being, it improves our respiratory system, it improves our immune system, it improves our heart health, everything about our health and our well-being. Exercise has been linked to a reduced risk of chronic diseases. Exercise has been linked to a reduced risk of so many chronic diseases, diabetes, heart disease, certain types of cancer. It can also improve your mental health in massive ways. It can boost your mood. It can enhance cognitive function. But in spite of all the logic and the benefits we know of that tell us that exercise is important, there are still a lot of people who struggle to make exercise a regular part of their lives. And I'll tell you this, I love to exercise. Don't shoot me. I'm one of those people who really enjoys it, but sometimes my life gets so busy that it's hard to make it a priority. Right now, I'm exercising regularly, but I've had times in my life where it gets away from me and I get out of the habit. So why is it that we do that? Because I'll tell you what, I just read the book by Dr. David Sinclair, who's the #1 scientist on aging in the world. He heads the Harvard Scientific Lab on aging. And I'm almost finished with his book. It's called Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to. It is a powerful book, and he shares a lot of the research that's happening around the world, things that they are doing in their labs, how they're reversing aging. I'm just about done with the book, and I went to my husband about 2 weeks ago and I said, okay, I have decided that I'm going to live to be 150. And Dr. David Sinclair says that the person who will live to 150 has already been born because of the technological advances we've had with health and biohacking. It is powerful, and it's down to a scientific level. And so we know all of this, and here I'm wanting to live till I'm much, much older than I originally planned, and yet we find ourselves making excuses. We find ourselves procrastinating, or basically simply lacking the motivation to get up and move. So today I want to talk about the top 10 things that stop us from exercising, and how can we overcome this to create a healthy, active lifestyle that's going to help us live better, longer, because I don't want you to just be healthy. I want you to be better than healthy. The first myth, and I'm going to say myth because these are all myths. These are all stories that we're telling ourselves. The first one is lack of time. One of the most common reasons that people give for not exercising is that they simply don't have enough time. But the truth is, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. You know it. I know it. It's up to us to make exercise a priority and schedule it into our day. And we all know that once we get in the habit, even if it's just a little bit each day, we get to a point where now it's habit. You don't forget to eat, do you? I know I don't. We can make time. The second thing is lack of energy. Many of us feel tired or exhausted. We have a long day. We work really hard. We're taking care of our family. We go to work. But exercise can actually boost our energy levels and help us feel more alert and awake. And if you're thinking, well, it's not a myth because I really do lack energy, well, guess what? You forced yourself to get up off that couch and go to work. You forced yourself to get up off the couch and go get food. You have energy, even a little bit. You can get out there and go exercise. Go walk around the block. And when we get to the end, remember, I'm going to tell you a really simple hack that is going to make this so easy for you. Number 3 is the fear of injury. Now, this is legit. A lot of people worry about getting hurt while they're exercising. And especially as people get older, they're worried because if they get hurt, they're out longer. And now it puts them in an even worse situation health-wise. So the reality is, though, that most injuries are minor and can be prevented by using proper form, proper technique. So as you are doing exercising, make sure you're doing it correctly. Even walking, it's a good idea to watch videos that teach you how to walk correctly. Because if you're walking incorrectly, then it can cause some damage. It's just like runners. Runners who don't learn how to use correct form when they're running, they run miles and miles, and then they wonder why their knee gives out. because they haven't been running properly and they've been using their hinges incorrectly. Now, of course, that's not the only reason that a knee will go out or you'll have an injury, but a lot of times it can be resolved quickly or it can be avoided. The fourth one is lack of motivation. We've all felt this. Motivation can be a real challenge, and especially if you're not seeing immediate results. With exercise, you don't see immediate results. Even, especially if you haven't exercised for a while and you start exercising, you feel more exhausted after you exercise. You feel more like you need more sleep. All of the things that you're supposed to get good results for when you exercise, you're not seeming to get those. And so it's hard to keep going because it can take a week or 2 weeks before you really start to feel the difference, and it's energizing to actually go. So remember that exercise is a long-term investment in our health, and the benefits will be cumulative over time. Now, what's wonderful about that is I've noticed that for example, if I start eating healthy or if I start exercising, I might not notice a significant change for a couple of weeks, but then as I'm going, it stays wonderful. And it doesn't mean that every day I'm motivated. It doesn't mean that every time I'm so excited to go exercise, but because I feel so good and because I know what it's doing for my body, then that changes everything. Now for me, here's a little hack. It's easier for me to feel motivated when it's either something really fun for me or, like, for example, if I go running, it's beautiful and I enjoy going out, but it helps a lot if I'm listening to something. Some days I'm just in the mood to run and think and maybe meditate or pray, and I'm kind of in that mode and I need that. But most of the time, it helps me if I'm listening to a book or I'm listening to music or something that is energizing for me. The fifth reason, and this is one you don't hear super often, but it's feeling self-conscious. Some people feel so self-conscious about exercising in public or in front of other people, but the truth is that everyone has to start somewhere. You might feel like you're too overweight, or you don't know how to do the moves. You don't know how to exercise appropriately or accurately or correctly, and so everyone else seems to know how to do it right, and you're in there just like bumbling around. You have to start somewhere. And guess what? It takes humility. So get a grip and be a little bit humble. Go be willing to get started because this is for you. So what? You're going to worry about what other people think. So you're not going to go exercise and change your body and your lifestyle and your longevity and your health because you're worried what other people are going to think. Yes, it's hard and it's real, but so what? Do it anyway. Go and do it anyway because you are strong enough to do that. And just realize most people are so focused on their own workout that they're not really paying attention to anyone else. Some people will talk about going to a gym where it's kind of like a meat market attitude where people are checking each other out. Well, guess what? Most people are focused on their own workout. And the ones who are doing that, guess what? Those are the ones you're not interested in what they think anyway. The sixth reason is cost. It can be too expensive. Gym memberships can cost a lot. Fancy equipment can be expensive, but there are many free or very low cost ways to exercise. For example, walking. Walking doesn't cost you anything. Running outside, doing body weight exercises. In fact, I find that when I do self-resistance exercises, rather than like doing weights with my arms, if I'm doing push-ups, I'm not only doing strengthening the muscles in one area. By doing push-ups, I'm strengthening the muscles in several different areas at once. And if I do back push-ups, then I'm strengthening several muscles in several different areas at once again. So if I just do front push-ups and back front push-ups and back push-ups, all of a sudden I've already done what would be the equivalent of several other exercises. So, and I think self-resistance is also really powerful because it helps you create balance and body core strength. Another thing you can do is join a community sports team, and some of those are free or cost very little. The seventh reason that people give for not exercising is the weather. We know what that's like, especially if you're trying to do free exercise, you're trying to do things outside. Bad weather can be a real barrier to exercise. This last winter, as we were coming into spring, Where my hometown is, I have a friend who would try to go exercise outside, but winter kept staying. They kept having snowstorms and it would freeze over. It lasted really long into the season, way longer than normal. And so of course it's slippery and you can fall and it's a little more dangerous. And so she ended up not working out for quite some time where she would normally go every single day, but she was worried about injury and the weather was difficult for her. So bad weather can really be a challenge. What you want to do with bad weather is work around it. Do not let it win. For example, you can find indoor exercising options, or you can invest in weather appropriate clothing or weather appropriate shoes that help you not slip, or simply embrace the elements and get out there and make the most of it. Go walking in the rain and just love it, or go running in the rain or biking, whatever it is that you can do. The 8th reason is lack of support. Now, this can be a really tough one because sometimes it's so nice to have support and encouragement from other people to stick with an exercise routine. People who can afford a coach makes a huge difference because now you've got somebody counting on you. You've got somebody waiting for you. You can't just skip the day because you have to pay for it anyway. If you join a fitness class, you find a workout buddy or seek the guidance of a personal trainer. All of those can be helpful. But I want you to remember something. You don't need someone else to help you be successful at your exercise. Don't act like you need someone else and don't tell yourself that story. It's nice to have. Go seek an accountability partner. Go exercise with somebody. I have a girlfriend that I go out and we do speed walking. I like to run. I like to do other things too. But when we go together, we do speed walking and it kills my thighs. It kills my legs. My tush gets way cuter every time we do this. I know it is. The 9th reason is boredom. What if you are doing the same workout routine every day and it just kills you? Some people love that. Some people love the continuity. They love to know what to expect. But for some people, it can be boring and it can lead to burnout. And by the way, it can also lead to burnout in your muscles. Your muscles stop changing as much and having as much growth because you're doing the same things all the time. So try mixing things up. Try new activities or new classes. Set a new fitness goal to keep things interesting. If your normal goal is to go a certain number of miles, maybe change the goal a little bit and say, okay, during these miles, I'm going to breathe a certain way. I'm going to make sure I breathe through my diaphragm. Or I'm going to make sure I'm focusing on positive things. Maybe I'm working on affirmations for myself. Whatever it is, it could be any goal to do with your exercise or something else. But just mixing it up that way helps it to be a little more exciting and not so boring. The 10th reason is people feel overwhelmed. I'm sure you have felt that way. I know I have. And I don't get overwhelmed that easily. But I'll tell you what, there are times that we get overwhelmed. We're human. Of course, we're going to feel that way. And it is really hard to get out and exercise when you feel overwhelmed. And often that will happen when you haven't been exercising and you're kind of starting something new. You're thinking, okay, I want to get started on exercise. So I have a little hack that is going to be so simple and so easy, and you've heard it before, but we don't do it. We don't always do it. So I want to tell you a step-by-step process that will be so easy that you will be able to be successful at your exercise. It is super simple. It is actually just one step. I just want you to do a little bit every day. A little bit every day. That's all. And now I want you to get your calendar right now, or I want you to decide exactly when that's going to be every single day. Yes, if you have to pause this, you pause it. I want you to get your calendar. I want you to put it in there. I don't care if it's 5 minutes. I want you to work up to 20 minutes a day, at least 20 minutes a day. But if it's going walking, I don't care what it is. It's interesting. I was working with a woman who she works so hard and so many hours, and there's always more to do. And as we worked together and I was coaching her, we had to absolutely commit her to, at this time, I don't care what else is happening, unless someone is dying, you are stopping and going on a walk with your husband. She also needed to spend time with him. And it was unbelievable. They both loved it so much. It was hard for her at first. She felt overwhelmed. She's the type of person who can handle a lot. That's why she was working so much. But what was overwhelming is all the things she wasn't getting done while she was out walking. But she started to get better at it. And I am telling you, it sounds so simple that people don't do it. It's just like when Moses held up the staff with the serpent's head on the top. You remember the story in the Bible? And he held it up, and all the people had been bitten by snakes, and they were dying. They were dying. And Heavenly Father made this staff be a special miracle, so that all people had to do was look up at the staff and they would be healed. But it says in the scriptures, they didn't do it because of the simpleness of the way. It sounded too easy. So guess what? It's human nature. It's too easy, and it seems like it's too simple. It should be more complicated. It isn't. So pick your time, and ultimately, the key to overcoming these barriers to exercise is to focus on the long-term benefits of a healthy, active lifestyle. If all you have to do is a little bit every day, and you're focused on the long-term goal, you guys, our bodies are our most precious asset, and it is okay that taking care of them is a top priority. So let's make a commitment to ourselves to prioritize exercise, even if it means making some sacrifices or stepping outside of our comfort zones. Sometimes it might mean you're stopping work at a certain time when you feel like, I have more to do. I don't have time for this. Don't let yourself believe the myth. With consistency, with determination, you are going to be able to achieve your health and fitness goals, and you'll be able to enjoy all the benefits that come from an active lifestyle. And I can tell you the benefits are huge. I don't want you to just be healthy. I want you to be better than healthy.